Yo, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Mad Scientist. Arriving to you guys, unshaven. It's over here where I am right now. It's Friday night, and usually I'm a little bit more shaven, primarily because I got to go DJ. So we're gonna keep the schedule tight on this one because, like I said, I don't have, I never have like a set schedule as to when I do these lives. I haven't got to that point yet where it's like, oh, I have to do it at this time. So usually when I'm doing them Friday evenings. And at one point in time, it was okay to do that because I wasn't DJing on Friday nights. But um, it just turns out that I'm starting to DJ on Friday nights. And so now it's like, okay, I'm going to have to come up with something different because if I'm really going to be DJing on Friday nights, then I don't want to be like rushing through this. Not that I'm rushing through it. It's just, you know, I want to, I want to feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. Um, I don't know if I'm really clear, but at the same time, I'm going to continue to do these because I'm committed to making sure that they get done. Okay. I really like the discussions that we're having um, primarily because I'm getting the mic set. At the same time, I don't want to have like a shadow on my face. So that's what I'm doing simultaneously. Um, I like the discussions that we're having because I really like the fact that um, we're not talking about the usual how to. And the reason why I like that is because I think when you get caught up into the how to, as a content provider, you enter into a space that a ton of people are in. Okay. The how to. And most of the people who get these plugins, they're not really, I mean, they may say, okay, well, hey, how to do this, how to do that, right? But beyond that, really um, the most effective how-to videos were the ones who sat there and said, okay, look, let me show you why I'm doing this. Okay. Um, I don't know if I'm saying this name correct, but before I get into that, let me go ahead and do this introduction because not only am I on live, I'm also going to be um, on Saturday on radio. So for most of you guys that know um, about this particular platform, you'll know that I'm doing it live, but I'm also um, hosting this on a radio show. Okay. Hey, what's up? This is Mad Scientist on the all new Power 97.5 LA. Today we are just talking music, where we bring you vital information about music production, promotion, and distribution every week right here on the Odyssey and the iHeart Radio apps. Okay. Got to get that in. Yeah, so you can catch me every day, Monday through Friday, okay, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Power 97.5 LA. Yes, I'm out of LA, Los Angeles, not Louisiana, Los Angeles, California. Um, and I'm on the radio Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can definitely catch my show, which has nothing to do with music production. It's just a straight show. We're doing music, hot takes, um, reviews of music, interviews. It's just a straight radio show. That's it. And both this show and my Monday through Friday, Monday, my Midday Madness show is on Power 975 LA. You can get the station on both the iHeart and the Odyssey radio app. You can also get in TuneIn also. So, but I know everybody knows about Odyssey, and they also definitely know about um, iHeart. So either one of those, go ahead, download the app, and then check me out. It's kind of exciting. It's very entertaining, way more entertaining. Not that this is not entertaining, but this is the purpose of this is not to entertain. It's to give you vital information while entertaining you, hopefully being entertaining. Okay. Okay. So again, going back to what I was previously speaking about, the whole point of this particular conversation is not the how to. I mean, that's cool. And there's a lot of people that can tell you the how to. Today, we're talking about the Isotope Ozone 11. And like I said, Isotope has its own videos on the how to's, and it will break down every aspect of this software, right? Or this application. Okay. And it's very good. I've watched it. It's very good. It's very informative. Okay. If you are at this point where you're getting stuff mastered and you're buying this, then the how to is little small little bits of information where you're like, oh, okay, it can do that. Okay, cool. I'm glad it can do that. Okay. Or aspects of it where it's like it's different than other applications. You're like, okay, so why? And they explain the why it's going to be different. And you're like, oh, okay, got it. Okay. Um, my goal is more of, hey, listen, this is why you're going to use these apps. So I went through a whole series of all of their AI material. But we started off this current run with why use AI. Okay. And just to kind of recap a little bit, um, we had the discussion of why use AI tools. You know, is it cheating? Is it real? Um, is it something that people will use in the future? And what I've come to understand is this, and I make it very clear with myself. I go out and get a D'Angelo Ball record deal with Def Jam, right? $13 million. I'm not using the AI tools because at that point in time, I can go hire. I've mentioned this mixer a lot of times. I can go hire Tessio to do my mixing. I would just hire. I would go find someone to do the recording engineering. I would just pretty much for me, I would do the beat. I definitely do. I am a composer. I'm a trained composer. Okay, so I would do the beat. Okay, or I would write the music. For those in composition world, I would write the music. For those in hip hop, I would do the beat. Okay. I also would write my own lyrics, which I already do, and I would perform my own raps. Wouldn't that be funny if people are not performing their own rap? They're just like kind of like really literally the face, and everybody be like, "That's new." And of course, me being a hip hop scholar, I would say, "No, it's not. That's not new. No, there was a time early in the music industry that, in particular, the pop industry would go out and find black singers, and then after the recording is done, they would go out and get white performers to represent the song. I mean, it wasn't seen as important to be authentic at the time. I mean, music industry was relatively new. This happened in early 1900s, 1930s, 40s. Okay. But people got out of that. By the 50s, that was over. Okay. But I'm just saying that if they were to say, okay, I got somebody else to rap for me, and write for me, rap for me, and everything else, and I'm just out here selling the song. I mean, even in the I think Milli Vanilli had a big controversy because they weren't. I'd have to look it up. I think Milli Vanilli weren't the actual performers of their hit song, "Girl, You Know It's True." Ooh, ooh, ooh. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to look it up. I'm not gonna look it up today, but I don't think they were the original. Um, I don't think they were the original singers. But imagine people were pissed when they found out. Like it was major controversy. Now we find out that people don't write their own lyrics, and it's like, well, I like the song, you know. Um, so yeah, do I think that AI is going to lead to a place where somebody is going to shortcut the entire process? I mean, yeah, it could happen, but I think that when you get to a professional level, you've had to, I don't care what you think of someone's, I don't care what you think of someone's song. You may say, I don't like the song. You may say, I don't think this person is talented. Once you get to a certain point in time and commitment, the actual execution is there. It's authentic. Now, you may get help, you may get assistance, and that's normal. But no one's going to somebody makes it into into the point somebody makes it to the point where a lot of people know you. You've done some aspect of this music for a long time, whether it's singing, dancing, whether it's church performances, um, talent shows, as kids, um, amateur shows all over the place. You've done that. Now, as you progress more, you start to figure out what you're actually good at, or more importantly, what you want to do, what you like to do, what you enjoy doing. Like for example, me, I really love DJing. So when this club asked me to come in and start DJing for them again on Fridays, yeah, I was comfortable at home. I was chill. You know, I was more relaxed. I looked like I was asleep. Remember, I was doing this before on the live. You could actually see my face, right? And it looked like, oh wow, mad science is well rested, right? Um, Now it's like, ooh, that guy looks like he needs a nap. So, but I love the DJ. I love the DJ. So of course I'm gonna say yes, right? But then if somebody said, hey, I need you to come mastering tonight, I probably would be like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna chill. Can we do it in the morning? It's totally different because you know what you like, you know what you don't like, because you've been doing it so long. So even if you get to the point where you're like, you know what? I like doing this, I don't like doing that. You still, whatever you like doing, you've done it long enough that I don't think that you're gonna be like, wow, like me. I love the DJ. I just let AI just no. And they have they have AI tools for DJing. I just I have no interest in them. I've seen it. They make a good point, in selling their product. They make a good point, right? And they say this is how you can use it. Hey, just use it on the radio, or like use AI DJing for your radio shows. That way, it sounds like a real DJ, but it's not really you, and you have way more time to do those other things that are really, really more important. And I'm like, nah, I like to DJ. I like to DJ. So I'm just not in the mindset that I'm going to allow AI to take over what I love to do. What's the point, right? And I think that that's gonna be the truth with most artists. Now, if you have no talent, but let's just say you accidentally walked upon a smash hit record just because you were playing around and people just like it, and you're like, I don't know why people like it. Okay, that person might say, I don't have a clue as to why people like this song. I need somebody else to start writing really good songs for me. And I may need somebody to like say the raps for me, and I'll just be the face. Like, I'm never gonna perform. I'm just gonna put stuff out and have my face on there. For those on the radio, I'm like giving the smiley face, like I'm posing with a smiley face, right? So yeah, if that's the case where someone looks upon, a viral hit, yeah, they could. But if there's someone's committed to doing this, I doubt it. I don't think so. Okay. Um, okay, so that's a long introduction to Ozone 11. Okay. Um, Let me recap before I go into the details. Let me recap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to recap why I'm using AI. I'm actually going to show you Ozone 11 and go through some of the what it does. Not everything that it does, but I'll show you some of what it does. I'm not going to show you the price. I'm not selling it. Okay, I'm not selling this item, so don't feel like I'm selling it or I'm making any commission off of it. I'm not. I'm trying to illustrate an overall point. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you how I use it. Okay, so my thoughts on AI are this. I'm a DJ, resident DJ. I also compose music or make beats, hip hop. So I'm mostly making beats, right? I also record. I'm a recording artist. So yes, I have music on Spotify, Apple. You can check me out. Mad Scientist, MADD Scientist. Okay, you'll see my face. I have on glasses, so you won't see my eyes looking like I need sleep. All right. Um, and so, and then I'm a radio host. Okay. Now, I've been saying this in other videos. I went to school for composition and I also went to school for production. Okay. So I know the production process and I know the composition process. Okay. And I've been doing this for a long time. So I'm really, really good at what I do. Okay. In my opinion. Okay. And a lot of people's opinion. Okay. I just haven't got that viral hit yet, but it's gonna come. It will be here. Now, um, there's various parts of the process, songwriting process I love. And I go through the entire songwriting process. I love it. I love writing songs. Okay. I like writing beats. And love writing lyrics. Okay. So I'm always gonna do that. I'm not gonna AI it. Okay. Writing my own lyrics, making my own beats, writing my own music. I love it. I'm educated about it and I like doing it and I have a lot of practice at it. So much to the point where I can have one conversation with somebody and know exactly what to do. Okay, in terms of a beat. And if they say, hey, come up with a hook, I can generally, come up with the hook. Okay. Just off a vibe. Not even like I'm currently writing a song now for an artist with a Busta Rhymes, um, with a Busta Rhymes feature, right? And then I gotta do the hook. I mean, I had the conversation with the person. I already love Busta Rhymes. Okay, so and I respect the artist. So it was like I've been listening to Busta Rhymes and this artist for so long that by the end of the conversation, I already know. Like they gave me the BPMs too, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's Club Buster, right? And so it was like Club, yeah, oh yeah, it's got to be Club Buster at 100 beats per minute. It's Club Buster, right? And so they were like, oh, okay. So you see how I already know that? Like I already know that. And I said, okay, if it's 100 beats per minute, club buster. Okay, let me see. We're not gonna put him on. I'm not gonna put you guys on a ratchet. I mean, this artist from the West Coast, but bust on a ratchet song doesn't sound authentic. It's not believable. Okay. Let me see what else in the club that we play. Okay, we play. Well, it's on the West Coast, so it's a lot of ratchet. Sorry, not sorry, but we play a lot of ratchet. Um, we also okay. So is it going to be more East Coast? 'Cause Busters from East Coast, like nah. Is it going to be boom bap? Not definitely not. That's not club. Is it going to sound something from the '90s? You know, something that Puffy would have did? Nah. Or 2000s? Nah. Not gonna do that. It can't be something from the trap south because Busta, like I listen to the verse, and it's not something from the trap south. And then the artist that I'm working with, he's not from the trap south, so not gonna do that. Um, so then I said, okay, Neptune's. I said, nah, that's too much. It'll be like because he worked with Neptunes, right? So it'll be like mad scientists trying to be for real. So that would be the AI, right? It would be mad scientists trying to be for real, trying to sound like for real, and it just would come across as super authentic. I mean, non-authentic. And to me, as a beat writer, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. But then that for real idea was a good idea, right? But I just not gonna do it. I said, well, what's the essence? What's the where did that where did the ratchet and come from? And I said, oh, the soil. It came from the soil. Of course. And for those who are not from California, you don't know where the soil is from. Okay, it's two things you got to know. Watts, California, is the motherland. Two places you got to know about California. The motherland is in Watts, California. The soil is in the Bay. Okay, so and most LA producers may not want to admit this, but I admit it all the time. Like there is something about Bay Area music that is just so like man, it's just something about it. I love it. I love Bay Area music. I love it. Like I love E40. I love Too Short. I know now I'm not saying I like all the rappers that come out of it. I would say the biggest one I love is E40. Like I love E40. Like that's my number one dude, right? From the Bay, right? But it is something about especially the hyphy music, it's just so like hip hop to me. And I said, okay, so now, am I going to sit up here and do a hyphy? Am I telling you that? No, I'm going to do me, right? But there are certain aspects when we're talking about writing. Um, there are certain um, ways to write the music. Let me be more specific, so I don't have to like be general and generic. Um, I will do what I do, right? Normally, right? And I have my process in which I write beats, right? Especially when I write beats. So, what I mean by that, I'm an 808 guy, okay? And I like 808s. Just having naked drums and a bass, like you playing the bass or a moog bass or eh, I like 808s. Boom, 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 right? Um, So definitely 808. And then when I make beats, what I'll do is I will literally like put together the beat, meaning the 808, the kick, and the 808, the hi-hats, the claps. And then I will just I will get a piano synth and I will put various melodies. I may put a pad, may or may not, but most of the time I'm just putting like 2 to 3 melodies, right? Rhythmic. I'll make sure the rhythm coincides together. I'll make sure the melody, the harmony is correct. Usually 3 levels. A high, a high medium, and a low medium range. Okay. And if you know music, then you know what I'm talking about. Like I'm not going to make this about composition. I have to go into composition in my next little series. So I may do that, right? And I don't mind telling you my process, my writing process, because at the end of the day, it's music. Like the same 12 notes have been around for hundreds of years, right? And all the same concepts. I'm not gonna be like the Migos where I'm like, I created the triplets. Nah, if you're into music composition, pretty much I'll take a rhythm and then I'll use 4-part harmony. But instead of 4 parts, I just use three. So 3-part harmony. And I'll have like, you know, just 3 melodies harmonically connected, and also, you know, um, rhythmically connected, right? And then after I do that with just the piano, and it sounds good on the piano with the beat, I'll just go through the VST and find some sounds, right? And usually it works with 2 sounds, right? Because you have one main sound that goes through, and then you have a secondary melody, and then you might have just like a sustain or you just go with 2. 2 is enough, right? 3 is rare. Usually the third is like some kind of pad, like uh, 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 right? So, all right, so I'm doing this Busta Rhymes, right? It'll be coming out this year. And now I'll do that with composition. Just spelled it out with you. I'm gonna do it. And it's not that hard. And I'll make it club. 100 beats per minute, it's club, right? 808, club. Just gotta find the right key. And I know the keys. I just go to my laptop and say, okay, what key am I putting in? I put in A minor. Works every time, right? Clubs out here, look, here's a funny thing. If you're gonna do trap, you want to use D minor. If you're gonna do like club stuff, ratchet stuff, A minor. You guys will probably say, but that one song, right? A minor. That's it's so much to that A minor that people don't even understand. Like that A minor means so much to different people. I understood what it meant for the context of the song, but me as a producer, when I heard it, I was like, I thought something totally different, right? All right, so yeah, A minor works every freaking time. Okay. Um, all right, so that's composition. Now, after I write the beat out, boom, 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 I'm not done. I've got to mix the beat. Okay. Now, you may think, well, if you wrote the beat, you should be able to mix it. Not true. Because yeah, I got an 808 in there, I got a kick going on in there, I got other things going on in there. So I can't have just a piano. I mean, I could have a piano, but most of the time I get different sounds, right? And I gotta put all of this stuff together and make it sound clear and loud. Okay. Clear and loud. Putting my hat on. Okay. I've got to make this stuff sound clear and loud. That's the whole key. So in order most mix engineers, they use certain tools. We all know the tools: EQ, compression, saturation. By the way, another because this is the last of this series, let me give you all these tips. Saturation is like hot sauce. You put that on everything. Wait, this is YouTube. No, it's radio, so I can't. You put that beep on everything. Okay. Saturation is like hot sauce. You put it on everything. And you don't just put it on at the end, okay? You got to start from the beginning. At the beginning, you're just putting saturation, 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 just small bits of saturation as much as you can through the whole process, the tracking. okay? And on the tracks, the grouping, okay? And then when you sum it up into, the pre-master, and then when you're on the master, you put more saturation, okay? So you gotta put saturation on every part, okay? So we know all the tools, but how do they work together? And you may know how to work all the tools. So you may know how to work compression. You may know how to use the EQ. Yeah, everybody's been using an EQ since you were a little kid. But it's like I said in earlier videos, you got to be able to hear what compression sounds like. You got to be able to hear what equalization sounds like. You got to be able to hear what saturation sounds like. And that requires ear training. And when you go and when you learn how to play the piano, when you learn how to play any instrument, the guitar, one of the things, even in composition, when I took composition classes, one of the things that they require is musicianship part of it. So I'm taking composition classes, but they're like, you got to play the piano. Now, I took piano lessons when I was a kid, like everybody else, but I'm not a piano player, right? But okay, fine. I will go ahead and play because it's what? Now, I don't necessarily like playing the piano. It's not my thing, but I'll sit there and try to and do it to get an A, right? All right. The third aspect of the training is ear training. You gotta train your ears. And that's ear training is what separates those who are successful and those who are not. Okay. Ear training. It separates I mean, Dr. Dre has an incredible, impeccable, elite level ear. He knows what everything should sound like. Okay. In hip hop, for sure. Any instrument, any sample, any drum, any instrument that may be used, guitar, bass, he knows exactly what it should sound like. So when it's played, he knows what multiple voices should sound like. So when the voice is rapped or sung, he knows when it's right. His ear training is bar none the best, elite, which is why he is the best. So just being able to turn the knobs on a compressor or slide the EQ, or right now we're just using mouse, right? That's one thing, but you got to be able to hear it, and that's where people fail because they can't hear it. They're like, "Huh? I did all the right things. The settings are right." Yeah, but you missed it. You can't hear how you missed it. I know this to be true because I DJ, and I've been saying this in all of the videos. These ears are trained to hear an elite level mix. I know when two songs or three songs go together, usually four songs go together. And at the end of those four songs, I hear what needs to come up next. I hear it. And then I use my eyes to confirm it. And that's what um these tools require you to do. Okay. Especially modern tools. But even some of the compressors, they would have the VU meters. They would say, like, make sure it bounce, but you got to hear it. And then you use your eyes to confirm. Okay. But you got to hear it. I hear the attack. I hear less attack. I hear more sustain. I hear less sustain. Okay, right there. Get the attack settings, get the release settings. Okay. I hear the compression. Okay, pull back. Okay. And then you're looking at the needle bounce. You're like, okay, yeah, I got it. It's enough compression. Okay. Same thing with reverb. Okay. You got to hear it. And you got to know when you hear the right thing for the right genre of music. That takes years, my friend. And so because I know that to be true and I know that to be real, this is why I use AI. And this video that we're doing and this discussion that we're having on the radio is different than the how to, because the how to is fine, but if you can't hear, you're going to spend a lot of years how toing on different plugins and never getting things done, never progressing because you did not focus on the right thing. It's almost like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about how to use it. How does it sound? I was listening to an interview by one of my favorite producers, more than Dre. My favorite producer is Eric Sermon. I didn't even know he was a producer, but I just figured out in my teen years that he was a producer, right? And he's one of my favorite producers. And one of my favorite albums is Muddy Waters by Redman. I love Waters. And I love the sound of it. I love the texture and all the production about Muddy Waters. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Okay. That is Redman's Muddy Waters, and it's produced by Eric Sermon. I love that sound. Well, he recently had an interview with Questlove. And Questlove said, I really wanted to hear this interview because Questlove is a musician and I'm a musician. So I wanted to hear what would Questlove ask, you know? And I was so shocked and surprised because and it's on YouTube. If you want to go check it out, go check it out. I recommend you go. It's well worth the hour. I think it's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But whatever time it is, I don't care if it's 5 hours, it is worth it. Okay. Especially if you're a producer and you're a musician, it's worth it because he asked all the right questions from a point of view, a hip hop point of view. And one thing that Questlove said was, he said, hey, so do you know that you were kind of like a pioneer for the sound of neo soul? And Eric Sermon, he's not he's not a trained musician. He has learned how to play, kind of like most producers who start off as DJs learn how to play. Like you've been playing so long on the piano, like you gotta use the piano as a tool, and so long that you end up learning how to play. But at the time that he was playing, the time when he was producing at his height, he wasn't a musician, right? So for me, I thought like he has a lot of, you'll hear on Muddy Waters, a lot of pads, a lot of chord progressions. And I'm like, yo, where's he getting these chord progressions from? Where's he getting these chords from? What where's he sampling them from? And I'm looking at the credits, like there's no samples, right? And so I'm assuming, like, okay, well, maybe he got somebody to play for him, right? Because I've seen that a lot, where you find a piano player or a musician, you have them come play for you, right? And to my shock and surprise, he said, "Nah, I would just." He says, he said he would get the beat. Okay, it's not that. And then he said the bass line he would play himself. He says, "I love bass lines." He likes funky bass lines. So he would figure out on his own how to play the bass line. So that's why he's learning in real time how to play. And I'm pretty sure he started off with two fingers. Do 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 do. If you know the album, what's one of his bass lines. But then eventually you get down to like the right hand, right? And then you might start getting funky with the left hand, right? So that's what he was doing. And then what he would, for the chord progressions, he would basically figure out the chords. Now, how did he figure out the chords? According to him, his ears. He used his ears. He started training himself to hear these chords and these chord progressions. And I'm sitting there like, huh? Questlove is like, wow. Because Questlove is the epitome of training. And I'm sitting there like, you serious? I'm looking for samples that don't exist. Like this guy's really just using his ears. Yeah. If you don't get anything else out of this series, take that. Take that. Take that. Use your ears. Use your ears and then trust your ears. If you've been doing this music any time more than 5 years, you've got an ear. The problem is too many people are looking for a solution that comes from an app or outboard gear. No, the solution is right here. You were born with them. The solution is here. You develop your ear. If you love music, you know it sounds good and you know it doesn't. And so a lot of times when people are presenting stuff that doesn't sound, you know, the way they want it is because they're not using this. They're not trusting. And I know you are not trusting because I spent years not trusting my ears. I just got to the point where, honestly, be totally honest, when I started DJing, that's when I said, I trust my ear because I felt super confident. And I started seeing that, oh, these other DJs can't hear the way I hear. They don't hear the same things I hear. Oh, so the ear does make a difference. And so then when I started really getting into these, these plugins, I was listening to one mix, um, one mixing. It's a YouTube channel. It's called mastering.com. If you want to deep dive on all of this stuff, and I mean all of it, if you want to deep dive on everything, you go to mastering.com. I'm not getting anything from them. I'm just telling you where I went. And one video will be 6 hours because they deep dive just on a compressor. That's 6 hours. It's mastering.com. Go to it. Okay. Anyway, I went through the whole 6 hours. And at the end of it, you know what they said? You got to develop your ear training. And so I've heard it so many times. I heard it going to school. I realized it with myself, and then I heard it again, and then I heard it again with Eric Sermon. When you hear something like that multiple times, it's because it's true. You have to condition your ear. You have to train your ear to hear hit records. Okay. Now I say all that to say this. Okay. You guys, at scientists, this is a long time. You haven't even like showed us. Yeah, because this is the last one of this series, and I want to spend that much time trying to get you to understand. Because everything else, yeah, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to demonstrate the Ozone 11, but at the end of it, and you do the how-to videos, it comes down to how committed to this are you that you can train your ears. And I want you to know that it's that serious. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the actual demonstration. I'm going to share my screen with those who are on my live channel. Listen, if you're listening to this on the radio, feel free to always go to my YouTube channel, Mad Scientist. Find me on YouTube and hold on, let me make sure. Hold on. Okay, I'm sharing this one. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we have the Ozone, Isotope Ozone 11. This is the latest one. It's by Native Instruments. Like I said, I'm not going to show you the buy now. I'm not going to do that because I'm not interested in selling you. I just want to give you an understanding of what it is. Okay. Now, it's not going to show you on this website every aspect of the application. It's not. But essentially, what this is a artificial intelligence mastering system. Okay. It masters your production, your songs. Okay. So once your song is, you've recorded the vocals, you've recorded the beat, and you put them down together, then you want to master it. Okay. And this will listen to your music, and it has AI systems have to first learn what is correct. Okay. It has to learn. So we don't know who's taught AI, that this is hip hop music when it's mastered. We don't know that. Okay. Some of mastered hip hop music is scientific. It's, numbers. It has to be about -8 lufs, no less than -9 lufs. We know that. I'm telling you as a DJ, you come in with something mastered at -10 lufs, it's not going to be loud enough. I don't care how much you want me to turn it up, it ain't going to be loud enough. You need to have it -9 at minimum. That's minimum wage. If you want to be at the level of a Tiger, or if you want to be at the level of a 310 baby, you got to be at -8. Okay. Lufs. Okay. So that's, yeah, that's numbers. But the sound of the 808, the sound of everything else, it has to be fed that by someone. And we don't know who's fed it that information. So we don't know if the person is correct. But I will tell you from experience, it gets really, really close. Okay. It gets super close. And you'll have to go through every part um, of the application and kind of tweak. Okay. But it has, equalization, various types of equalization, various types of compression. Um, and, it goes into limiting, various types of limiting. Okay. And you just have to listen to it. Again, use your ears. And so that way you'll know if it sounds good or not. Okay. You can't get away from that. Just gonna have to use your ears. Now, those who are listening, looking at this on my YouTube, you can see the actual website. And we're gonna go into what's new. They have a module called Clarity, and they call it Pure Magic. It's essentially a subtractive or a suppressive equalizer, but it's doing it in real time. So instead of it being static, where you set it, let's say, -2 dB, you cut, 1.5 hertz or kilohertz, -2 dB, and you just leave it there. Instead of doing that, clarity makes it fluid according to the song. And as things are going, it's always changing. Okay. I also use this module with my beats when I'm producing the beats, because they have a preset for let the lead vocal come out. So I usually will mix my beats, and then I will record and mix the vocals separately than the beat, and then open up a third session in Cubase and put them together. So I need my instruments to already be carved for a lead vocal, and this module will do that. So it's great. But um, it has this module in there, and you let AI go ahead, listen to your track, and suggest it. And so then you can make adjustments accordingly. Sometimes you might only use this process in the high end, sometime in the low end, sometimes in the mid. It's up to you and that song. Okay. Um, it's great for that. Stem focus. Um, again, this is something that you could master using stems. So I could say just the drums, just mix the drums, just mix the bass, just mix the music, and just mix the vocals, right? Bring all those in as stems, and then this will allow it will go ahead and list all the stems and kind of put them together. I could do that. I may experiment on that. Um, I think you could do up to 4 stems with this. So I guess it would be drums, bass, instruments, vocals, right? And you could have it mix all 4 of those for you, and then you could do the adjustments by ear again. Okay. Great for that. Transients. A lot of times when you're doing compression and when you're doing limiting, you lose transients in order to get things loud. It could happen. So you got to be able to bring those back in. So this tool will allow that to find those transients, bring those transients back in. Okay. Up- it also has upward compression. Again, this is another way of getting your music loud. You know, there's compression, downward compression, and there's upward compression. That will allow things to stay within a pocket and or various um the various elements of your mix to stay in the pocket. If you're mastering, it's definitely going to be used to make sure that the low parts of your beat or song come up, and then at the same time, it's going to squash. So you'll get like that little break, right? And that brick is what makes the music loud. Okay. Assistive vocal balance elements. So um, if you are using, you know, the previous stems, then there is a part of this that will focus on the vocals. Vocals is very hard. And I talked about in the past that I use AI for vocals primarily because it's hard, and it's not something that I want to continue to like just stop my whole life in order to learn, right? I'm not saying I can't. It's just saying that that's not going to be my focus. Like I said before, and I've said this many times, um, in my perfect world, I'm going to have a mix engineer do my mix my songs and a mastering engineer. It won't be me. Okay. And then it gives you testimonials, always giving you testimonials about people who use it. And a lot of times people are not using it, just set it and forget it style. They're more like using it as in, okay, get me to a starting point so I can work faster. That's another reason why you want to use AI. Because if you are a very popular mixing engineer or mastering engineer, then you are going to need to like be able to work fast. Okay. And that's what AI will allow you to do is work faster. Okay. So you can get stuff done. Okay. So with that said, how I use AI in terms of mastering, like I said, I let it listen, I run it through. I let it listen to it, and then I'll tweak it. I don't really like upward compression, but I'm starting to like factor that in terms of my production. Okay, well, I'm not going to make this instrument so high because I know that that the mastering is going to push up, so I can make things a little lower so that things are kind of coming to the middle. The people who can see me on YouTube can see that I'm like it's pushing everything here. So I don't want everything to be so high in the level. So I'm making those adjustments because upper compression is a thing, and I got to be loud. Okay. I'll tweak it a little bit, and then boom. Um, if you're doing a lot of work on your mastering, then your mix is the problem. It's not mastering, is your mix, and AI can't really fix a bad mix. So if you want to know how what I said on the mixing process, you can always go back to previous videos and see what I wrote, see what I said um, in the mix. That would be the neutron at the Isotope Neutron. See what I said with that? That's the one with the mixing, and you can go back to that. The last thing I will say is this: is that with mastering, everything is small moves. Anything above 2 dB, and you are like, hey man, you need to go look at your mix. Okay. All right. So that's today's edition of Just Talking Music. Thank you so much for everybody that came out, that's listening every Saturday. And for those who are joining me on stream, I appreciate it. And thank you so much. Join me next week. We're going to go into composition. Yes, I will go into composition. I will, that's going to be pretty much a deeper dive, more how to, and you're going to also get the why. Okay. You're going to get a lot of why from me. I don't like to do how to's, I like to do why. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. It's your boy, Mad Scientist. Catch me every day on the Midday Madness Show on Power 97.5 LA, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on iHeart and Odyssey Radio.